Have you ever wanted to be the best like no one ever was? Is a real test to catch them and perhaps training them is your cause? If you recognize those lines a bit, then you probably deduced that it was from the original series of Pokemon from long ago. I've always had a soft spot for Pokemon, whether it be the video games, the show, or even other versions of the beloved series. I love all the generations of Pokemon, and I want everyone to understand my enjoyment of it, and maybe take away a few pointers for competitive play, as well as show you how much work some people put into Pokemon. That's right, I'll be telling you how to get that perfect Pokemon onto your team. Today, I would like to inform you all about competitive Pokemon and how to find or breed IVs, natures, and abilities of Pokemon. We'll start with the easier subject, raising EVs. EVs are also known as effort values and heavily weigh into raising stats. EVs work as extensions of the 6 base stats: HP, attack, special attack, defense, special defense, and speed. According to Smogon University, every 4 EVs in a stat is equal to 1 point in that stat. Every Pokemon is capable of having a maximum of 510 EVs with a maximum of 225 EVs in any one stat. EVs are also very easy to work with, as they're based entirely off of what the player does with their Pokemon. Defeating certain Pokemon yield different amounts of EVs for different stats. There are also items in-game that can raise a specific stat by 10 EVs with HP up, protein, iron, calcium, zinc, and carbos, raising HP, attack, defense, special defense, and speed, respectively. Up next is a bit more of a difficult to refine subject, breeding for IVs. IVs, somewhat similar to effort values, are known as individual values and are important but weigh a bit less into getting the perfect stats. To Smogon University, unlike EVs, IVs cannot be changed and are permanent when you obtain the Pokemon. The best way to get a Pokemon with good IVs is by breeding. IVs can be as low as 0 to as high as 31, with 0 being the lowest and 31 being the highest, and affect each of the previously mentioned stats. When breeding, parents have a chance to pass on IVs to the offspring, which is essential for getting the perfect IVs, since the IVs normally are greater than their parents. Natures are a simple matter to understand, but are just as important. They affect the stats in a static manner, raising one stat but lowering another by the same value. Natures affect all stats except for HP, with some natures being neutral and not affecting any stats. Natures raise one stat by 10% at maximum level and lower another stat by the same amount at maximum level. Here's slightly different factors. Abilities. Abilities normally don't affect stats, but can be a key component to the perfect Pokemon. Abilities are a certain quality to a Pokemon that has a variety of effects, from raising effectiveness of certain moves to changing the entire form of the Pokemon. Most Pokemon have 2 or more abilities that they can be found with, as well as some of them having a useful hidden ability that is hard to find and normally quite effective for whatever Pokemon that may have one. One can breed for the right ability, or in later games, use an item to change the ability of a Pokemon entirely. Now, it's time to gather together everything that we've learned into a quick summary. EVs and IVs affect stats greatly, but only EVs are manipulatable by the player, with natures further enhancing certain stats that can work together with an ability of a Pokemon to create the perfectly bred Pokemon. After all that, Pokemon sounds like it could be comparable with breeding dogs or horses for contests or competitions. But in their own way, it's just like it, but for their own reasons. Pokemon breeding is just as complicated and time-consuming as other kinds of breeding, but can be about just as rewarding.